Ooh. Hey y'all, it's another episode. It's Rich the Recruiter with another episode of Cold Plunge Talks with the most interesting recruiter. Today we're going to talk about developing your story. For interviews, I believe that's very important because we have a tendency to conclude that our lives are pretty much the same as others. And I'll tell you that they're not average, they're not boring. And when we think that, it's a result, that many people don't tell their own story well. But your story is so much better than what you think. The way your life has evolved, the things you've learned, your achievements, your quote unquote failures. I don't fail in life. I either win or I learn. That's why I say quote unquote failures. Your dreams. These things are unique to you. You are unique in yourself. And it's so much more interesting than you realize. And once we get that deep inside of us and we're able to share that story throughout the interview, your well thought out story, look, this is powerful during interview techniques. During interviews, for interview techniques, should I say. Your story is what helps people understand who you are, where you've been, and where you're going. So learn to tell your story well, especially for interviewing. And of course, you can also use that for networking purposes. Putting together a well thought out story takes work and it takes practice. But these are the benefits that you can have in your career, and they're enormous. Your story has the ability to, one, give you confidence. When we remember those wins, when we remember how we quote unquote failed but learned from it, it gives you confidence, like, man, I overcame that. You know what I'm saying? It increases your self-awareness. And it brings a humanity to your resume. And obviously this is for interviewing purposes and networking purposes, but it brings a humanity to you, to your resume, to what your experience is. And it makes you memorable. It sets you apart from any other person because, once again, you're unique. Your story is unique to you. No one else has walked in your footsteps. No one else has experienced what you experienced. There may be some similarities, but no one else has done what you've done. So I would recommend taking inventory. Look back at the chapters of your life. Think about, major events, memories, turning points that shaped who you are. I remember I've started whole divisions and departments in companies. And that, that's huge for me. You know what I'm saying? So think about what has shaped you. Make notes about how you felt during those times. What were your expectations? Maybe even your frustrations, what you learned from that. What you've accomplished and what you experienced during those moments in your life. Focus on memorable aha moments. These stories, have vivid, dimensions. So what you experience, once again, is unique to you. And when you're able to share that story, it may be, we're going to go, even as far as, maybe a moment with your mom, you're sitting on the porch, or maybe a trip you took. And then, of course, related to work, maybe a boss, a mentor, what they told you, how they inspired you. Those are things. They don't have to be dramatic. They don't have to be, they don't have to be dramatic, but they just have to be meaningful to you. When you uncover these themes in your stories, what emerges, what is your passion, is it mentoring others? Is it doing research? Is it having a specific type of client that you enjoy working with? Maybe it's advancing your knowledge in that field that you're in. What gives you joy? Are you a teacher? Are you a leader? Are you an entrepreneur? Are you a risk taker? That's all that is unique to you. No one else has that exactly the way you have it. So reflect on your career paths. you know, where you came from and where you are today. You know, I always say, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I used to be. So where did you come from? Where are you today? And it'll help you see where you want to go in the future. So why did you make certain choices? Who helped you along the way? I know personally, I have people that have helped me, that seen things in me that I never saw in me until now. What's motivated you? You know, what career goals remain the same, or have they changed? Have your career goals changed? And that's okay. Are you someone who likes new projects, or do you enjoy executing other people's vision, which is fine. Either one is fine. You know, it's what's unique to you, and you're able to share that story during the interview process. It's going to be able to set you apart. This has been, I think that's what I wanted to cover. So, you know, make today your day. You know, what happened yesterday is irrelevant. And what I mean by that is, if you had a hard time, if there's a challenge or a quote unquote failure, today's new. You know, what happened yesterday is not gonna affect today, as long as you start making those right choices along your path. So develop your story, get that story embedded in you, so when you're in interviews, your energy can just flow, and you remember those scenarios when you get those behavioral type questions, or when you're talking about yourself. I've heard so many different clients, you know, they talk about their families and their dogs and where they've been. If you already have your story developed, you don't have to, it can flow. You don't have to sit there and just be there like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. No, you have your story. So focus on your story, develop your story, your unique story, because your story is unique to you, no one else. And I want to keep reiterating that. Your story is unique to you. No one else has walked in your steps. No one else has worn the shoes you have worn. So stay encouraged, my friends. Much love, much peace. This has been Cold Plunge Talks with the most interesting recruiter. Y'all have a great day.